It is full speed ahead on the Leyton Orient Express after Swindon's great result on Good Friday. But with Leyton Orient coming to town, will we be well ins the playoff mix, or will we be out of it? Three, or including myself, four of tonight's panel will be hoping we're still very much in it. One of them probably doesn't care whether we're in it or not, but will be surely hoping we don't get a positive result. Let's say hello to everyone. Ben, first of all, how are you, buddy?
Very well, mate. It's a sunny day in Swindon 1 yesterday, so it's all good today.
Rich has just made it back from Harrogate. How are you, mate?
Yeah, all good, mate. How are you?
Yeah, very well. And your eyes do not deceive you. Warren has found time in his busy schedule to join us as well.
Evening, chaps. How are we all doing?
Very well. Always great to see you. And I'm delighted to say that we are joined by the Lowdowns. Julien, how are you, pal?
Yeah, very good, thank you. Thanks for inviting us on. As I said earlier before we recorded, it was Forest Green. I'd have told you to fuck off, but it's Swindon. You're not bad, and we quite like you guys because our connection. Even more now with Richie at the helm.
One of the few clubs actually do like us.
Richie who?
So before we get started, Julien, tell us a little bit about yourself, how long you've supported Leyton Orient, about your podcast as well, which Rich featured on the other day.
Yeah, okay. So me personally, I'm a my sons are a fifth generation O's fan. So we've been in amongst it. Unfortunately, I haven't got a choice. I haven't got a choice to support a decent club. Going back a number of years. But the Lowdown. So we started on a radio station called Love Sport. We were a feature on Love Sport for Leyton Orient. Love Sport went into what matter of problems with cash and then with COVID. And then we stood there thinking what we're going to do. So we said, we'll continue. We continued, and we've had a real sort of run of form, if we were honest, better in Kenya Jacket's form, if I was honest. But we started probably the third member of the podcast duo from Leyton Orient. And I would say now we're definitely fighting at the top there. We probably on a sort of a weekly, we go over nearly 1,000 downloads, so we're really sort of really pleased with that. And I keep saying this, and no one believes me. We're the 27th most popular football podcast in Spain. There you go.
Wow, that deserves a round of applause, if nothing.
I feel privileged to be on it now.
do you know what it is? It's all the cons that left East London and gone to Spain because the old Bills after them.
There's a lot of expats in Spain, isn't there? There's a lot.
Yeah, that's it.
And Leyton Orient fans.
Oh man, we don't know now. I think someone just keeps looking at Lowdown. It must be something in Spanish for popular, and then they download it and then cut off after a couple of minutes and realise it's a couple of cockneys talking about football.
Well, it is an absolute pleasure to have on. I think we can officially call ourselves Swindon Town's second biggest podcast, can't we? I mean, there's only two of us, but we can officially call ourselves second.
And growing.
Second and growing. I'll take that. Cheers, Ben. Rich, let's start with you then. So we are essentially doing a bonus episode tonight, previewing Leyton Orient, but we can't preview without looking back at what happened yesterday. What a result.
Yeah, it was fantastic for us. I mean, when we went up there, I was a bit. You can never take these teams for granted, and especially when you look at Harrogate, for example, they started off incredibly well this season. They were in the top 7 for a good few months. They got some really, really good results, and they've sort of fallen by the wayside a little bit.
Their squad's been decimated, hasn't it, with injuries and stuff?
Yeah, absolutely. And that continued yesterday for them as well. And by the way, I hope their centre half has...
Oh, that was bad.
Yeah. I hope he has a very quick recovery, because I knew as soon as he went down that was an ACL injury. And yeah, he just fell flat on his face. And I felt for him. And there was a long stoppage as well. And once they brought the stretcher on, I think everybody knew that was a very serious injury. So obviously wish him the best of luck in his recovery and everything like that. Nobody wants to see that ever. And when Ian DeLow went past him, like sort of thing like that, and he just hit the deck, I was like,
even the players, is that they just sort of went about 50% pace towards the goal, didn't they? They weren't sure whether to carry on or not.
Yeah, it was difficult. I mean, obviously we celebrated and everything like that because the goal came from that.
Yep.
And I'm not going to lie, it was quite difficult to celebrate because at one point, obviously, could see Davison obviously put the ball in the back of the net, but also at the same time, you could see this poor lad, he's just hit the deck, and you could tell that he literally just, the way he slipped, looked as if that he didn't just slip just out of anything, that it was definitely a bad injury. And I wouldn't be surprised if he's completely torn his ACL or anything like that. So
No, it didn't look bad.
yeah, it looked horrendous. And fair play to Harrogate's medical team and to our medical team that helped out during that situation as well. So I hope he has a speedy recovery. But in terms of the game itself, you know, I think we started off incredibly well. We had a very positive attitude about us. I said to a couple of people that I was with, I was like, the pitch that we're on today should suit us. I said the same about when we played Port Vale a few months ago, that this pitch should suit us. It's a nice pitch. With Harrogate, it was a concise pitch, so it was smaller than a couple of the pitches that we have played on this season. For example, like our pitch, because our pitch is a little bit extended. Bradford, for example, that's an extended pitch as well.
Yeah.
Harrogate's is very concise, so it was really good to see that us we played the type of football that we want to play on.
Yeah. And
you know, it was really good football, and it was quick as well. So we weren't dilly-dallying around with the ball at all. And, you know, I feel as if that we got our just rewards very early on. You know, I think I think a couple of our players probably could have scored before Louis Barry got the first goal.
Oh, absolutely.
We probably should have been 5-0 up at halftime, if truth be told. But I think the way that we took our goals as well was just different class as well. I thought Mandela Egbo was incredible yesterday. The first goal, he did. It was a great cross, but my favorite was the second goal. Was just the way that we played from the back. You know, we don't get an awful lot from the back, and the way that we started to play from there. And we got the ball up to Egbo.
Yeah.
And that ball was just absolutely exquisite. And it was just for Barry to score on an absolute plate. So I absolutely love that. And I love those kind of goals as well. And, you know,
Rich, can I jump in? Sorry, mate. You said, you talked about pitches. You said Bradford, you mentioned your home pitch. What about Leyton Orient's pitch? That's a great pitch because we have great form there when you guys come to town normally. So it must be a great pitch.
It's not often he gets asked a question where he doesn't really know what to say.
Not often that I've been to Leyton Orient as well. Leyton Orient, the time in December was actually the first time I'd been there, and we'd lost 4-1. So
it
great pitch. Then that's what
it was. No, it was a good pitch. I don't know where it was that night. We obviously weren't that great, but I didn't really go into Leyton Orient saying that we were definitely going to get a win. Usually because like I said, I've said, as soon as I see a pitch, or as soon as I see the type of football I know that Swindon can play on, I'm instantly like, yeah, we're going to win. If I'm being really honest with you though, Julien, Bradford, I didn't know that we were going to get a result of that game, if I'm being really honest. Port Vale though, instantly I saw that pitch and I saw, you know what, we can play football on this pitch. Their pitch was immaculate. Like, honestly, I was like, we can get the ball down, we can play this passing football that Ghana loves to play, you know. And there's not many pitches in League Two that are absolutely immaculate. And do you know what? Port Vale was the biggest surprise this season. I didn't think their pitch was going to be that great.
Like, I don't think it is.
I don't know. I don't know what it was. I have no idea what it is. but it was just, it looked
Rich,
amazing.
you sure you went to Port Vale?
Say again?
Sure you went to Port Vale, or did you just get lost on the route up there?
It's a fair question. It is a fair
He
question.
was at Portsmouth or something, probably, wasn't he?
Probably.
Well,
But yeah, no.
It wasn't just us that obviously had a great result yesterday, Julian. We was talking before we started recording about your result as well, and at one point, obviously, I don't think Sky would have been too aware that we played each other next, but they were talking about how Swindon and Orient were just going goal for goal at one point on the ticker, just trying to outscore each other.
Yeah, listen, I think if you look back, that was Richie's third home game since joining us. He had a run of away games, and one of those was a 1-1 draw at Forest Green Rovers, and that was a pleasing result for us all, really. But I think, yeah, we have scored goals this season. That's the thing. With Kenny in charge, and with Richie in charge, we've scored goals. And then we had this COVID break, and then we sort of off for a month, and a few injuries, and Kenny got a bit sort of stale very quickly, and which was very surprising. So, but no, yesterday was a good game again. Not our best with the last two games, not been our best, but we're doing okay, and that's the important thing. And as I think we mentioned before in our own podcast, is that Richie's made it very, very clear to the fans is that this is pre-season, really. It is getting the team ready for next year and give it a go.
And very familiar.
Yeah, and listen, you can't knock the guy for it, and you forget how short his managerial career is, So if on paper, if we was all betting guys, you had Richie Wellens, you had Kenny Jackett, Ben Gardner, who would you say would be the best manager out of all those? Forget the quality of the style of football, because we could debate that all night long. And you'd say Kenny Jackett all day long, and he was absolutely fell apart. So no, we're really pleased to have Richie, and I think we tried to get Richie in last year, and there was some reason he went to Doncaster, didn't he?
Yeah.
So he left Solihull and he went to Doncaster, and I think that was his home team. And blah 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 blah. His heart ruled his head. But we had the pleasure of interviewing him a couple of weeks back now, and he was saying is that it was like managing an under-23 side. And I know Rich was mentioned on our podcast that you had quite a few young players in your side when he helped you out, but also you had some experience in there. And I think at Doncaster, didn't think it had any experience. It was all young players, and as you know, that's quite tough for any manager.
No, yeah. Absolutely. Well, you've very neatly segued me into the first thing I wanted to discuss, really, and it is Richie Wellens. Obviously, you've kind of already told us your thoughts on him being at Orient. I know most people associated with Swindon Town were and the large extent still remain big fans of him. Ben, should we expect a good reception for him?
I really hope so. He spoke really well of Swindon yesterday as well, yes, in his post-match interview, which we really appreciate. And he does genuinely still have close bonds with the clubs, and the fans do with him as well, because he's always been straight with the fans. Even when he left and he met the load of Swindon fans outside the Harrogate Hotel, they just told him straight what was going on. And at the time there was animosity when he left, because he left us in the lurch when we really needed him.
Yeah.
But he knew what we didn't back then. He knew the shitstorm that was about to happen at the club. And his home team came for him. He's in Man United links, Salford. He's from there. His lads were born in Salford. And Swindon were about to implode. And he knew that. We didn't. He did. So he left. But yeah, I think the fans understand that now, and they'll give him, I don't think they'll be singing his name, but they'll give him a good applause, and and he will speak to the fans, and they'll appreciate that as well. So I wish him nothing but the best at Orient. I really hope he does well and succeeds and gets them up, because he's I rate him as a manager, and I think at both his previous clubs, Donny was right club wrong time, and Salford, well, Gary Neville just cut him off way too early.
Salford's one of those things where nobody is ever going to be successful.
Well, it's just he took over from Gary Alexander's team, to be polite, played industrial hoofball football, which is complete opposite to Wellens' game. And he didn't even get a full transfer window to implement his old team in. And Gary Neville just gave him the chop, and they replaced him with that numpty. Oh yeah, but yeah. So I'm hoping that Orient give him the time. His joining Orient is similar to Swindon. Swindon were about 17th in the league when he joined Swindon, on their arse, looking over our shoulders, thinking that, we could get dragged into a relegation fight. And he steadied the ship. He finished mid-table, sort of top end of mid-table, didn't that? And the following year, he won the league. And he played it with absolutely brilliant football and some of the most entertaining that I've seen in a long time. So I wish him nothing but the best. And I hope he does the same at Orient.
And as always, I posted out from our social media to ask regular listeners and viewers whether they had any questions. And one that Luke sent in, Warren, and I'm interested both from your perspective, and then I'll flip it to Julien to see if they actually match. He asked, with how well we know Wellens, what are you expecting from his Orient team? And then we'll see if what you're expecting matches what Julien expects to turn up.
Tomorrow.
Sorry. I'll let Warren answer that one.
Oh, sorry, Warren.
Yes, no, you're right. With Wellens, I think he was a good manager and he played football in the right areas. He had no drama from the back of putting the ball forward if it needed to go. There was always an instruction that we're not going to play ourselves into trouble. We're going to make ourselves, we play football, let's get it up to the top end of the pitch and play football in the right areas and play some good attacking football when we got there. I liked Wellens as a manager. I completely agree with what Ben just said there. I wish him all the best with everything. But I think he plays a good style of football, but it was a winning style of football. And I just don't, when we were on a run with him, it didn't matter how we were playing for me. We were winning football matches and we were at a top end of a table. We were scoring goals. It didn't matter to me. But from what I always used to remember, when we had managers that we were playing out from the back and we'd get it wrong, Wellens was one of those that you put the ball at the top end of the pitch and we play football in the right areas. And I think he'll be no different. I think he'll have something inside. Always, when you come back to an ex-club, I think he'll really want to impress and show that because he's had a couple of dodgy jobs since then. And I think he'll be on the hunt to impress. But for us, it's one of those games that we've just got to go and win. They're a mid-table side. You've got to hope that they're playing for nothing. And we've got to win.
And when you hear that, Julien, is that the sort of Leyton Orient you'd expect to see? A no drama, play in the right areas, do things the right way approach?
I think Richie's definitely turned things around, and we've got the same squad, so there's nothing's changed. Just getting a better tune out the old fiddle, as they say. But we were scoring goals before. Let's get some facts here. We were doing really well. I think we beat you considerably, and no disrespect when you come to our place, and that was a run of good form for us. One thing I think what Richie has done is galvanized the squad and the fans. Orient, the community club, and I think very similar to you guys. And we are a numpty lot. We do like to sort of put a two pennies worth in, but very proud of our history and the community side. And Kenny was very disconnected with the fans, and I think, no disrespect to anyone really, I think when you don't have the fans on side, it makes the job very difficult for you, because we're very vocal, aren't we? We're very sort of trigger happy on Twitter or on social media, what have you, and also on all the forums as well. So he's done that very quickly, and even in his interview yesterday, I don't know if you guys have seen it, and he sort of he came out as being interviewed by Dave Victor, who does the Orient Live commentary, and interviewing him after the game, and he says, any problems with fitness, and Richie goes, yeah, me, I put on a bit of weight since joining the Orient.
Seen that, yeah.
Before he came out.
Yeah, so he's had a couple of chocolate biscuits or cookies, wherever it was, and he was being interviewed. But he's got a bit of humour about him, and I think that's what you buy into, and I think the players buy into that. So going back to your question, sorry, a long way round. So I've got two sides of this. I hope he'll go and say, guys, look, I'm still in it, guys, and this is my team, and we do good, and give you a competitive game. Or we did what we went to Oldham and did. We allowed Oldham to get 3 points and get himself a little bit out of trouble at that time. So he may be charitable. I wouldn't say. I should take that back. Actually, I don't think he's that type of chap.
He won't. He want to win.
Yeah, and I think, and if I'm honest, when you came to us, you were good. You had a bit of an off day. I think it's going to be a good game of football. Very much so. Two managers who like putting it on the grass. You said that you got good pitch, which again it suits us. We got some really good informed players at the moment. Smithy, who's scoring for fun from all over the pitch. And something that we didn't have when we played you, I don't think. I think he was injured then. So again, we got some good talent. I'm looking forward to the game, if I'm honest. I think it will be a good battle, and I think Richie will want to win. But I think you said earlier, I think in his heart of hearts, he's always, in the last 2 weeks when he's been interviewed, when he was talking about this game, he can't speak highly enough of Swindon. So I think it'll be a nice homecoming for him, and then I think then that bit's put to bed and we all move on.
Yeah. No, I just sorry to cut in now. I think I'm just thinking that his attitude tomorrow. I think he'll respect Swindon as a good technical side, so he'll play his best 11. He says, right, you play this side because if you do well this season, to this game, you'll be in my plans next season. So you go out and you show me you can perform because I won't be promoted next season. So if you can do well against these lot, you've got a shout next season. Yeah. If you ain't, then you're on my plans, and I think that's how he'll go into the game. I think Orient will be well up for this.
Yeah, I think that would be his probably for every game that he has next. Is like right, who wants to be in my squad next season? Like, do you know what I mean? If you think you're good enough, right, show it to me. Like, so these are your games to prove to me that you want to be in my squad next season. So yeah. Yeah,
well, he'll say that because he'll put Swindon as a bar that's up there. No, it won't be like old.
I don't know. I disagree with that. I don't think he will, because I just think he's, for him, obviously
he's naturally competitive, isn't he?
Yeah, exactly.
He has to win. Yeah.
He wants to do it for every team that he plays. He doesn't want to just do it for Swindon just because he was there. He will want to do it for every team now for the rest of the season. So I don't think it's an incentive for him to like say, oh, right, this is my old club, right, this is your shot now. If you want to be with me next season, you've got to go out and beat this lot. Like, sort of thing. We're not even in the playoffs at the moment.
That's not my that's not what I meant. I meant is that Swindon are a good technical team. They're great on the ball. They're going to be as good as most teams that we're going to play next season, because they're going to come at us and they've got good players like Jack Payne and co. So this is the bar that this will be set. You need to match them. So we'll go play at them at our game. We're not going to play for a point. We're going to go play and go at them and try and beat them.
But who in the top 7 aren't playing the way that we're sort of playing? Because where is it? Huh? All right.
Seems like Sutton.
Okay.
Yeah, there seems like Sutton. Tranmere up around there as well, and they're a bit of a big
Northampton.
Booth. And Northampton are a big hoofball merchant team.
Northampton are the way I would describe Northampton is you get the ball on the sideline, you get the ball, you throw it in the box, and you
Northampton are a horrible team. Yeah, they're horrible teams. But that's what I mean. It's just like he wants to play football the right way and says like this is how I want you to be next season. This and try and be better than them.
Yeah, at this moment in time, though, we don't know who in the playoffs is actually going to go up. So
no, we don't. No.
But I sort of get what you mean, but also like, you know, you've got to look at the top 10 really, and you know, we don't really know who's going up. We could still go up at this rate.
There's no excuse. There's no excuses for Swindon. There's no excuses. Like we're playing a mid-table side this week. You know what I mean? And this is what a lot of our running is coming to. This is massive for us. We should be more motivated. I don't care what the manager puts across from Wellens. Yeah. This is for Swindon. These are games that we've got to win. Yeah. There's no hiding from it. If you look at our run of fixtures, apart from Forest Green, they're all teams that are, we've got a Barrow that are down the bottom, going a bit further ahead, but Swindon have got to be, if we want to get in these playoffs, I feel we've got to win 4 out of 5, and that is what we've got to do.
Okay, well,
I was just going to, sorry, Fifey, I was just going to quickly go back, but I mean, like, I look at the teams that we've got coming up, and I'm not sure whether or not this was your next question or not, Fifey, but I look at the teams that we've got coming up. For example, like, I mean, Harrogate that we just played yesterday. I mean, it feels bad of me to say that we didn't really get out of third gear, because we didn't really. We played really good football, but the goals that we took were just so easy, you know. And I thought we played incredibly well, but I know, for example, the games that we've got coming up are not going to be as easy as that.
Mm.
Now, I was a little bit worried going into that game yesterday. I was thinking, are we going to take this for granted or anything like that? We didn't. Thankfully, we didn't, and we played the football that we wanted to play. But like I said, we didn't really get out of third gear, which is quite good. Although we did pick up an injury, and Rob.
Well, that is what I want to talk about next, Rich. But before I do, just something for you to consider, Julien, because I'd like to come back to you at the end for your thoughts on, as we sit here tonight talking, including a playoff winner, who do you think are going up? Okay. Now, I don't need you to answer it now. You can think about it while we continue the discussion, but I would be interested because every week we get asked this same sort of question: will we do it? Will we not? In a frame or another. So it's always nice when we get someone from an opposition perspective to say, I think Forest Green are going up with X, Y, and Z in the playoffs. But Rich, you make a good point here, and Hunt's injury is what I've actually got noted down to discuss next. One of probably only 2, if not 3 negatives from the whole game for me was that injury. It looked, again, quite bad. Watching it on iFollow, you're worried how long it will be. But looking ahead to Orient, where do you think we go with this now? Do we go free? Do we stick with like a 3 at the back with O'Brien? Do we put Egbo back there? Do we put there's talk about Tomlinson moving over and D'Angelo going left back. How do you think we should approach it?
Yeah, so I think it's for me. I've said to a couple of people yesterday on the way back, on the journey back. For me personally, I don't want us to go back to a 3 at the back, but I feel as if that we haven't really got much of a choice at the moment, and I feel as if that we've got 3 strong centre backs that can do a job there. I mean, Bowdry's proven himself the last 3 games that he can do a really good job.
Woody, who was hoping to be on tonight, he put on WhatsApp, one of his comments was, I just want to load it up so I can quote him word for word. He said that he has been, was it very impressed? Was that the words he used?
The Swindon Orient connection as well,
impressed
Bowdry.
with Audrey's bow-out performances was how he quoted it.
Yeah, I thought he was fantastic yesterday, and as was Conroy as well. But then when you add Jacob Bryan to the mix as well, who he's just been unfortunate because, I mean, we've played the way that we have done the last couple of weeks, and we've played the formation that we have. And obviously he was on international break, and then he came back and he got ill and stuff like that. But he's been nothing but really consistent for us and stuff like that. So I've got no issues of him coming back into the fold. I think we go with Egbo and Tomlinson at the back, and then we go with Reed and Payne in the middle with, who we're assuming and hoping to be back into the fold is Harry McCurdy, with Louis Barry and Josh Davison up top. I feel as if that those two can offer an awful lot, McCurdy and Barry. We don't know what state McCurdy's going to be back in, like as in fitness wise and stuff like that. All we can hope is that he's going to come back, but we all, in reality, that's not always the case. But he's going to be up for these games more than anything. We know that. We know his heart lies with us, and that he wants to do the best he can possibly do for us, and he always puts his heart on his sleeve. So I really would love to see him do the best job he can possibly do when he does come back.
Well, he in fact, he is the next topic after Hunt that I've got noted.
Yeah, I won't speak too much on McCurdy. Like I say, I mean, obviously you're going to speak about him in a bit, but like, you know, I feel as if that is the team if all fit. I feel as if that probably should be the team that plays. Now, obviously, you know, Hunt is a massive blow for us. You know, we've got games coming up where he's been nothing but consistent for us over the whole season, really. You know, every player that sort of tries and takes him on at that fullback position, you know, Hunt's always there and he closes him down, and he's never really made a mistake from that. And it is a blow when you've got games like Orient, Hartlepool coming up, who are both mid-table. And I feel as if that Forest Green coming up as well, like Forest Green is the game that will probably suit us the best out of.
I'll be
Orient
honest.
and Hartlepool.
I'll be honest. I'm more confident for Forest Green right now than I am for Orient or Hartlepool.
And do you know why as well? Because Forest Green have got something to play for now. They're only 2 points ahead of Exeter, and Forest Green are going to want to go for the title.
I swear to God, I'm just throwing it out there. If they bottle promotion, it's going to be one of the funniest things I've ever seen.
It will be. And do you know what? I said this a couple of months ago as well, that they were going on a bit of a, you know, downward spiral, like sort of thing like that. And I felt as if this is going to be just very squeaky bum time for them, because, you know, I mean, it's not going to be easy. And you know what? League Two is not an easy league to get out.
About any league. No league isn't easy.
It's not. So the fact that they're only Exeter are only 2 points off them, and I think
I will laugh.
I think Port Vale, they're only 4 points off them as well. So
the annoying thing is, we should be challenging them.
We should be challenging them. We should be, but you know,
let's just get in the play.
We've just taken a bad turn at the wrong time.
Yeah.
You know? And it's the same with every team, you know, and it's a shame. It's a shame that it's come to that, but you know, it's the way it is.
Just on the topic in hand, and I think, Warren, you had something you wanted to say anyway, so I'll bring you in at this point anyway. Do you agree? Would you go Egbo on the right, and if fit, then McCurdy comes straight back into the 11?
No.
Really?
Why? Barry scored 2, Egbo's assisted 2, McCurdy don't get back in the team, Davidson scored 2. You're only as good as your last game, and you go off your last game. We've won 4-1. You don't go and rip up the sheet because you've got one injury. Hunt's gone, so Odemayo comes in, or you move. You do not put Ellis back in at fullback. We've all had this conversation that he's a better centre midfielder than he is at a wing back, and he's found his position. I do not understand why McCurdy is not fit, and he will not be fit. So 20 minutes at the end, if we need him, he does not come back in and play 60, 70 minutes for me. And then you crab him another injury for the last 4 games when we might need him again. Egbo is going to be as confident as anything. Barry's just scored 2.
But very quickly though, do you really think Odemayo is good enough to be in our squad right now? Very, very confidently.
Well,
do you think? You look at the games that he's.
Yeah, but where do you go with this? I'm not having the change of the system going to a back 3 when you've just done reasonably well away from home with a back 4.
Let's not forget though, Harrogate are a different proposition to Leyton Orient as well.
Yeah, much different.
The table doesn't say.
Form guide does.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't think about that. I think about Swindon Town. Like Swindon Town at the moment,
we should play the formation that we're getting the best results from.
Yeah, and for me, like, we've got one injury. Hunt, he's gone. So Odemayo can come in and do a job at fullback, can't he? Surely, or it's one of those things. I wouldn't pull Ellis out of the position that he's playing at the moment, because I don't feel.
I didn't either.
So, you know what I mean? And I wouldn't go to a back 3. So I solely think the only thing that you can do, I don't think you change the whole top end of the complexion
because the right back's got in.
The right back's not in the team.
Yes, no, we're not though, because we're keeping the front 3. Well, except for Egbo.
You're not keeping the front 3. That's not. You're not keeping the front 3, then, are you?
You're keeping the same sort of system up top, except for you're maybe putting Egbo back a little bit, but you've also got McCurdy, who's also who's more attacking than anybody.
No disrespect.
You know? I get it.
Hunty is a solid defender. You're putting a guy in Egbo that you haven't seen play at right back yet, or you've maybe seen him play for 20 minutes at right back. He's come into the side and he's gone at the top end of the pitch, and I think he's done very well. I would not be changing anything to do with that front 3. You make one change. You don't. All players have had dips in form. Odemayo, he comes back in, does a job at right back for me, and I just think that'll be the way we should go.
Warren, I get that, but also, whereas keeping the same thing every single week got us this year, we've always had a different...
We haven't, have we? We've changed formation left, right, centre, back 3, back 4, back 3, back 4.
No, but we've kept it as a back 3 for, I don't know, maybe 6-7 games, and then we've had a dip in form, and then we've changed it up and we've gone to a back four. And we've kept it like that for the next 4 or 5
my
games.
I just
And then
can't
it's
see
downhill
that.
again.
Rich, we can carry on, but I can't see how McCurdy is going to be fit to jump straight back into this team.
So before you two do carry on, I want to give Ben his chance, and I just want to point out to Julien, this is what we do after we've won a game. We're arguing over who's playing at right back.
Listen, I thought our club was just bonkers, but you guys are up there as well. Well done, congratulations.
Which way are you going? Are you agreeing with Rich and you pull Egbo back and you risk McCurdy?
I'm putting one foot in each camp. You can't play McCurdy after he's had 2 training sessions because he's trained yesterday, he's trained today, trained tomorrow.
But Garner said
he will injure himself again. However, you do have him on the bench. I'd play Egbo at right back because he was signed as a right back. And I play Williams on the right and then take him off after 60 minutes. But that's his position. That's what he does. He did well for the first 60 minutes.
He's an attacking.
What else are you going to do? You've got to play square pegs in square holes, and that's his natural position.
You know what worked perfect, Ben? Do you know what worked perfectly for us yesterday was the fact that Payne and Williams didn't both start. And I'm saying that now. And we spent the whole of Monday's episode. I said that on the last podcast that Williams and Payne do not start together.
We described it, if you remember, Ben, on Monday. We said we've got our own version of Gerrard and Lampard can't play together now. And now
they'll play next to each other because Payne will play more central and Williams will be out wide.
Ben, you were at Rochdale, right? And they both played together. Who was like, Williams was not in the game. He started on right winger. Okay. Cheers, Warren.
Cheers, boys. Have a good evening. Take care.
Cheers, mate.
Yeah. Okay, let's move on from the right back situation because it's clear I was just going to quickly say, like, obviously Williams played on the right against Rochdale away, and there was absolutely nothing for us. Williams for me is an impact substitution. I feel as if that we can take somebody off after 60 minutes when we're either maybe in the lead or if we're chasing a goal, he can come in and he can do a job. Okay.
Ideally, I agree, but you can't play McCurdy after 2 training sessions when he's been out a month.
What I'd like to do
he's played more than 2 training sessions. Apparently, he's trained all week last week. So
he's been running, but he's not been doing much else. He's only been full training 2 days. He's been running, but
Julien, what I'd like to ask you, because of the type of character he is, has there been much or any talk at all from your camp about the possible return of McCurdy? Because most fans in the league seem to have an opinion on him.
I can't stand him, so he doesn't play. So
no one likes him. But
listen. First of all, professional footballer, pull your socks up. Put a bit of tape on, son. Play it properly.
Got the same issue with Grealish.
You'll hate Barry as well because Barry and McCurdy both do it, and they're just like each other.
Yeah, but Grealish is
Grealish. It's the Grealish thing.
Yeah, he's £100 million player though. McCurdy's good. I think he scored against us, didn't he? He was the one that he scored a score for you. So he's an half decent player. I sort of going back to sort of what you're talking about. Shouldn't he play? I think if you're thinking you're going to get into those playoffs, you rest him. You don't play him on Monday because I think if he's been out with an injury, couple of training sessions, and back in, and it will be a competitive game. It won't be a Harrogate. And you're talking about Harrogate like you won the FA Cup. Harrogate are crap, and they're where they are, but they're where they are for a reason. The only and as I said earlier, the only reason you go to Harrogate is to go to Betty's tea rooms. You forget football, right? So Orient and Orient and Harrogate are 2 different propositions for you. I'm not saying we're better or worse. It's just
but you are. That's kind of what you're saying.
But you've got a returning manager coming to your club who doesn't want to get back on the coach and make an arse of himself. So that's the difference. We don't know whether we're better or worse than Harrogate. We're a mid-table club at the moment. So, but going back to McCurdy, I think you should rest him, and if needs be, bring him on. But again, if you're looking to get in those playoffs, which you are, and you're talking about you are. I think it'd be a Ben Garner make a complete fool of himself if he starts him on Monday.
The thing is, though, Willie, though, because we've only got 5 games left. It's different if we've got 10, 15 games left, like sort of thing like that, and it's very, very close to the top. But whereas we need we need somebody that can score goals. Okay, like you said, Harrogate
We've just scored 4 without him.
Yeah, but like Julien just said, Harrogate are crap. Like our B team our reserves probably could have scored 4 against them. Like, do you know what I mean? It's like Leyton Orient are a completely different opposition. And the fact that Harry McCurdy scored 18 goals this season, like that tells you something. Okay, he's been injured. He's only been injured for a couple of weeks. Barry, he was injured for over a month and he came straight back into the fold against Rochdale. And okay, yeah, it wasn't his best game, like sort of thing like that. But if McCurdy came back into the team, McCurdy would be well up for it, like sort of thing like that. And
Rich, I've got a question for you.
Barry had 2 weeks training as well.
Richard, I've got a question for you, Rich, actually.
Yeah.
You have a side defence. He comes back into the fold. He starts on Monday, goes off on another injury, and you don't get into the playoffs because he's not scoring you for the next 5 games. Yeah. That's your problem. You mentioned the teams that you've got to play. Barrow, Forest Green Rovers, Northampton, I think you said as well.
Yeah.
Barrow's a winner. Forest Green Rovers for you should be a winner. Yeah, that should be a winner. Northampton depends whether you're looking up or looking long, where the ball spits. But all those games are winnable. Even Monday's a winnable game for you. But I think as a club, if you start him, you are running that risk of him being injured and not helping 100%. You the next 4 or 5 games.
100%, Julien, absolutely. But I feel as if that at this moment in time, we've got to start taking risks.
Okay, I'm interested now then. You flipped it on Rich, Julien. I'd like to flip it on you. Say you were in Swindon's position and your top goal scorer had been injured and you needed to win to get in the playoffs. Would you be risking him?
But you got 4 more games after this to play, so I wouldn't risk him.
Yeah.
Well, we've got 4 games, we've got 4 games. We've got 5 games. We've got 5 games and we need to win them all. And we're playing catch up here. Whereas if we weren't playing catch up, I'd maybe think about maybe the first game, maybe resting him. But whereas we're playing catch up here, and there's 3, maybe 4.
So you're telling me
3 or 4 teams ahead of us.
If you don't get a point, if you get a point on Monday and you win the next 4 games, you'll be in the playoffs.
100% will be in.
Yeah. So for me, it's a no-brainer. Doesn't matter where you sit. If it was only 2 games to go, you're playing because you think shit or bust, don't you? But you still got a good run, and you're playing teams that you should be beating. Yeah, and you should beat us as well.
Yeah, but the problem is, on paper, the problem is teams that we should be beating that we don't.
Yeah, with Swindon this season, we've been so inconsistent. So the teams that we should be beating, we tend to not actually beat. And I feel as if that's the problem. We've been missing our key players for those kind of games that we should actually be winning. And
for what it's worth, because I'm the only one who hasn't sort of put his opinion on there, I wouldn't be starting McCurdy on tomorrow. I'd have him on the bench if he's fit enough to play. But this isn't one of them where he's fit enough to come on for 5 minutes at the end. He's on the bench if he can do a half hour job.
I think the good thing is with McCurdy is, like, don't get me wrong, I wouldn't be overly disappointed if he didn't start, because the thing is, we've seen this season that he can come on and he can. Bristol Rovers away, for example, like that, he completely changed the game. We were 1-0 down and he was involved in all 3 goals. Okay, granted, that was right at the start of the season, but at the same time, though,
they're a different opposition now as well.
Exactly. But it doesn't really matter, though, because we know what McCurdy can do. He's up for absolutely anything.
I think,
game that he plays. So don't get me wrong, I won't be disappointed, but I feel as if that Ghana needs to make the right decisions of what his starting 11 is, and whether or not that is changing the formation or playing the right players in the right positions. And I don't feel as if that, I know Ben was talking about maybe starting Williams with Payne again, but that is not something that should happen. And I'm very, very strong about that, because I feel yes, I am very, very keen and very strong about that. And I feel as if that, okay, if you're going to change the position, make sure you play the players that you've got in their natural positions.
Well, and the good news for you, Rich, is we do know that there is some sort of club officials that do watch our episodes by chance, because everything we talk about is what they seem to do. So
it seems that way. Yeah.
Do they? Johnny Williams to start up top. Come on, Johnny.
Right. Speaking of people starting up top, Ben, let's move the discussion on. 2 people we will expect to start are Barry and Davison, who both got 2 goals, which are going to do masses for their confidence, isn't it?
Oh, huge. Well, Barry and Tomlinson obviously coming back from long layoffs. It's taken like 2 or 3 games to get them right, but no, they found their feet and they're back to their best, which is going to be good. Whoever's on the right hand side, he worked wonders with Egbo, and I absolutely, 100%, I'll be playing Egbo on the right if Hunty hadn't gone down injured. Davison looked short confidence until he finally got his goal. He missed an absolute sitter in the first half. But when he got it, he looked better, he looked sharper, and his confidence and his tails up.
Very much
Brilliant. And do you know, we needed that win so badly because we were tailing off. We hadn't won in 3, and the fans were doubting that we were actually, after being in top 7 all season, we'd slipped out to our lowest position that we'd ever done, and we thought it was done. We were done. And going there, dominating the game, we could have scored 7. If we really wanted to pick up communal gears, we could have. Harrogate was shit.
I'll be honest with you, just very quickly, Ben. I almost fell asleep after the 70th minute because the game was already done.
Yeah, we just closed down, went back down the gears, and just went right. But if we really wanted it, we could have got more. So that was a confidence filler, and we were just for the players that needed it really. Just going back, and I just wanted to say one thing quickly on the Harry thing, and then I'm done. I think if he's on the bench, I think he's only used personally in the last 10 minutes if we're all square or desperate. We won't see the Harry McCurdy that we've seen all season when he comes on. He'll be like 60-70% Harry McCurdy, but he will bring a persona with him, and he will bring a fear factor with him, and immediately as soon as he's on, that ground will explode with noise. So he definitely goes on if we need a goal.
Well,
but that's it. Anyway, that's what I wanted to say, and we've done that.
No,
that was it. Yeah, we've moved on.
This is why we do these, is so that you have a somewhere to outlay all of your opinions on everything. One thing I am interested to know, if I can, Julien, press you on how Orient have been playing. One of our regular panelists, Ned, he's been very vocal about our need to score early. And as was evident yesterday, if we can get an early goal, that's when we seem to be at our best. Because if we don't score, particularly in the first half, was it Ned that called out a stat the other day about how poor our scoring record is in the first half? Have you been slow starters? Is an early goal something that you're used to conceding? Is it something we could be relatively hopeful for?
No, so you look at sort of Richie coming in. I think it's been a mixed bag. You know, it's only the game Saturday where we got off the marks really early. So for us, as you know, we had a manager, Justin Edinburgh, passed away a couple of years back, and his style. Listen, it's like looking at the same person really, because Justin came in when we were sort of underperforming, got us ship shape, and then the next season we got promoted, and Wellens is doing something similar. But the other thing which is always quite spooky to watch is that Justin was the same. We would go in at half time probably playing a little bit average. It's like it was just the end of a training session. Then Rich will have his chance, same as Justin used to have a chat with the players, you know, put them back on tune, and they'll go out second half, and then we'll go and sort of tear up for 45 minutes. And that's been something very similar that we've seen. Good Friday's game was a little bit different. I think we were trying not to concede a goal with you guys on Monday. We would try to go in at half time 0-0 or 1-1 if that's the worst case scenario. But I know we've got enough talent in our forward line and on the bench that we could actually come out and change it up. We've got Smithy on the bench, which is what, 6'4", 6'5".
Another Swindon link there. Swindon link.
Yeah, so effectively, I'm glad we play in red, because I think they're not sure which dugout to sit in. You know, they'll be going. But it's for me. I think we've got that to mix up in, and Rishi has mentioned a couple of times is that he doesn't like we've had this sort of culture this season with the long ball throwing, which doesn't always work, as you know. But he actually said it's not his style, but it works for us. We've got a couple of players who can launch a ball into the box, and it has been working for us. And whether not getting a goal, it's upsetting the defensive mechanism of our opposition. So they sort of be fearful. Like you were saying, McCurdy coming on in the last 10 minutes, the ground will erupt and will become fearful. We're doing the same by using sort of different patterns of play. So I won't see it. And we said this when Rich joined us on our podcast. I can't see it being a high scoring game. I think it'd be quite a tight affair. And then what the outcome would be. You need the points more than we. So if sort of good betting odds, you should actually win the game. But reality is, I think it will be quite a tight game.
Yeah, actually, that's an interesting point. Ben, I'll come to you on that. Couple Ned's comments on our need to score early. And even going back to yesterday, we mentioned it, was it last episode or the episode before? We're not very good at keeping clean sheets. So when you consider what Julian's just said as well, obviously both teams to score is the obvious bet if you can put that on. But can we get off to a quick start, and do we have enough about us to stop them scoring?
See, the thing is for Swindon, and what we've done all season, we're a possession-based team, and we work teams out and we wear them down. We score a lot of late goals because we hold possession. We'll finish with like 65% of it, and we'll just pick holes and we'll wait. We don't pile bodies into the box. We don't put undue pressure onto teams. So it's a sort of like a Man City thing. It's just we just wait, and an opportunity comes, and we'll try and get it. So we're not like a Richie Wellens side who tries to play quick, high press, high rush football. We don't do that. So that's why we don't score many goals early, because teams defend quite easy against us.
Because they're not tired early doors.
No, but we tie them, we work out, and we create opportunities later on in the second half, and that's when we come alive. Conceding goals, that's been
it's what we do.
Yeah, it's what we do. Well, we scored lots, but it's we've just at the back we've just let some stupid goals, to be fair. You mentioned about the long throws, that scares the shit out of me, because we throwing balls in the box will create absolute havoc in our back line. I hope we start O'Brien, because at least he can head a ball clear. But that's the sort of thing. Set plays, we're dodgy. We're just not great defensively as we should be, and that's if we miss out on top 7. That's been the problem. That's why we're not in the top 7, because we just leak too many silly goals.
Okay, we have got a couple of other things I wanted to touch on, but I am conscious of Julian's time. So if I can, I've got 2 more questions for you before we let you shoot off. We've mentioned throughout various links, Wellens being the obvious one. Vigouroux, thoughts?
Absolute top goalkeeper. I think he's the best goalkeeper in the league. So I think the strangest thing when Richie came in, I think the first thing he did was meet Lawrence before he turned up the training, just to sort of build the bridges again. And Lawrence has been very, very vocal in our own media, and also
Lawrence is being vocal.
No, positive vocal. So he's grown up a lot since I think his days at Swindon.
Does he still give the opposition fan pelters? Does he still give it the big one?
No,
he doesn't
really.
do that anymore.
No. He still pays his fine in pennies. So any fines he gets. So no, he's grown up a lot over the last couple of years, and I think he's come into a team where he's confident and he's doing a good job. He is the number 1 by country mile, although he doesn't wear it. I think he's a very good lad, and he's sort of these similarities quite scary, because he's just not just Lawrence. You got Frenchy, you're talking Baldry at your place. It was a great servant for Orient, and it was one of the nicest players we ever had when we lost at Wembley against Rochdale. And he was the first guy to go in the pub down the road. He's the green man at Wembley, and apologised to the fans that he sort of didn't particularly have a good game. He missed a penalty, I think it was. And then you go back to your director of football, so another Orient, ex-Orient person as well. So you got Ling, you've got I think
it's really, aren't they?
Do you know what? I never thought this until recently this season, how close the relationship with Swindon and Orient has been. And I think that's great to have, because there's not many clubs that we all can sit here and go, oh, he's good, he's not so good, or he was good for us, was he good for you? And have these conversations. There's a lot of animosity between teams, isn't there? You know, and I never felt with Swindon. And just going back, and another thing, we came to you a number of years ago when we were relegated into the National League. You was out a game that we had to beat you, and then the rest of the teams in the world capitulate and then not score or what have you. It was we brought coaches of us, you know. It was like going to a funeral, but we just piled on. We come down to you guys and very receptive and sort of it was a sort of tough time for us. But
believe me, we will know exactly how it feels.
I tell you why there's much love between Swindon and Orient. You sent them down in 2001. You sent them out the Football League. Martin Ling and his Orient team, when you went up, you sent them out the Football League. You made them non-league. You killed them. They were the 4 of the best years of non-league football. You know exactly who I'm talking about, in their own back garden. Oh, that was so good. Thank you for that. Orient, special place in my heart. I've still got pictures. I've got paper cutting of Martin Ling just giving the large one, and there's like an Oxford bloke in the head and hands in the background, loving it. Oh, just for Lingy to do it as well. For Martin Ling, who's a Swindon legend for like winning promotion to the Premier League and 2 spells and all that, he's an absolute legend. Just send him down. I was like,
right.
So yeah,
I wish I was a big fan at this point, but I was like 5 years old. So
all right, less of that. Right, 2 more quick fire ones for you, Julien, before we let you go. First one, the important one, a score prediction, please.
Unfortunately, boys, it's going to be what I would like to say a Desmond, but I don't think that'd be exciting. It'd be a 1-1, I think.
Okay, and then finally, and this will then link into giving you 2 the chance. As I said, we ask viewers and listeners to send in questions, and we don't necessarily always get Swindon Town or football-based ones. Sometimes we get a real mixed bag. And a recent supporter of ours goes by the name of Max. He's got involved. He randomly got involved in a debate about whether mint chocolate is acceptable or not. And then last week he sent in a question about pineapple on pizza. So you can see where this is going. But I'd like your
he's morbidly obese, is he?
He's
sorry, Max. Sorry, Max.
And I'd like you to go first, please, Julien, because his latest musing is this. He has a theory that the difference between sport and a game is that if you can play it to a high standard in trousers, it is a game, because he's yet to be proven wrong. And he gives the examples. Golf is a game. Snooker is a game. Darts is a game. What's your thoughts on that one, please?
Well,
on you.
Yeah. Listen, I'm glad your podcast listeners and viewers are very creative. First of all, we all love a bit of mint chocolate. I wish I could reach the cover.
Oh no, we all don't. Rich doesn't.
No.
After eights are good.
That's the after eights is the only one I would have.
Yeah, thank you.
Pineapple on pizza, you must have 3 heads. That's not a thing for me.
Oh no, see, me and Woody were very much team pineapple on Monday.
No, I'm with you, Julien, mate. Honestly, same food.
Julien gets it.
Yeah. But listen, mate. I know we agree on the pineapple. You do have a nice shirt on that. You should have a pina colada by the side, shouldn't you? Yeah, that's absolutely. So is sport? If you play in trousers, is it sport?
That's essentially what he's saying. Yes. Any sports you can play in trousers are actually just games.
So I think that's. I haven't got I couldn't sit here and give you an answer behind what I'm about to say. I actually think it's wrong. I think anything that you have to train for and you get better with training for and competing is sport. Yeah, whether you play it in your pants or trousers or your women's your wife's underwear, whatever you want to do, it's sport because you are competing, you're training, and you're improving. It's a sport.
Fair enough. I did say that was the last one, but I did ask you earlier who you thought was going to get promoted. Yeah. So just before you go, who are you tipping for promotion at this point?
Right. Listen, it's sad to say. I would hope the wheels fall off of Forest Green Reavers, but it won't. They will be promoted. I don't think they'll go up as number 1. I think you've got sort of Port Vale and Exeter, both teams that I don't overly rate, but they've done the stuff this season. So I think Exeter's are going to top it. They've been there before. They've got the T-shirt. They know how to get into promotion. So Forest Green, Port Vale, and Exeter is probably as the three to go up. And in the playoffs for me, Bristol Rovers, unfortunately.
No.
I can't stand Joey Barton and the guy.
He's very popular on this podcast.
Yeah. Every breath I have, unfortunately, it disappoints me. But then if you're looking around, I'm just looking again now. Northampton, I think the wheels have come off. I think Mansfield, I don't want them to be promoted. I just don't like the club as a whole. Sutton United, for me, although they beat us the other week 1-0, they're not a League One side. And I think one step too far. And then I look at coming in for you got Swindon, Tranmere, and Newport. It's a difficult one, so whoever gets out of playoffs is going to be tough. I just feel Bristol Rovers have got more about them to get them promoted, and they are a team that's played in League One before and played very well. So sadly, guys, Forest Green Rovers, I wish they didn't, but I think they're going to unfortunately go up.
Yeah.
Listen, we never invited you on to make friends. We invited you on for your opinion. So if you're saying Bristol Rovers will go up, that's an opinion. It's wrong, but it's an opinion. Do you at least think, and I promise I will let you go, do you think do you believe we will make the playoffs?
You got to play McGreedy on Monday. No, jokes aside. I haven't seen you play. So if I take it solely on us playing you sort of early in the year, no. But reality is that you play decent football, and it's not just your fans saying it. There's other people saying you try to play decent football. Unfortunately, League Two, as I think you were talking about it earlier, League Two, you've got lots of teams who don't play decent football, and they're in and about it. So that's a tough one. I just hope for you go and play your football and get the results you need to get yourself in there. And as you know, in the playoff, it's a lottery. It's a lottery. It's an absolute lottery.
Very agree, Julien. Absolutely.
Thank you very, very much for your time tonight. Really appreciate it. Continue the great work with the Lowdown podcast. As we say, if anyone watching this or listening to this, Rich featured on yours the other day, and you're still putting that out there. So please go and listen to that.
Listen, we're smashing the arse out of that until Monday, so don't you worry. That's going to be our Twitter all tomorrow. So again, we are pleased that we had the opportunity to speak to opposition fans, and thanks for inviting us on. And I wish you all the best after Monday. And if you get into the playoffs, good luck, and I hope you do it.
Yeah, likewise, Julien. Likewise. Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for having me on and everything like that, and everything that you're doing as well. So well done for that.
You're in for one hell of a ride under Wellens, I promise you that.
Yeah.
So all the best.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I wish him all the best of luck at Leyton, and I really hope he does good stuff with you guys. Genuinely mean that.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Julien.
Means a lot. Take care. Happy Easter. Happy Easter.
Thanks very much.
Happy Easter to you as well.
Right, see you later. Bye.
What a nice guy Julien was.
Yeah,
they're very knowledgeable.
Honestly, top bloke. Obviously, like I said, I had the pleasure of speaking to him on Thursday night, and honestly, the conversation was just absolutely flowing. They take their podcast very, very seriously and everything like that. And it's fantastic to have somebody that's so knowledgeable about their club and the way that how passionate they are about their football club, as we all are whenever we come on this podcast and everything like that. So it's really good to see people like that. So
well, Rich, I feel like I gave the last couple of questions to Ben, so I want to go back and give you a chance to have your say on a couple of things. Bigaroo. Do you think he will get a good? We spoke about the reception Wellens will get. Are you expecting Bigaroo to get a reasonable reception?
No. Just plainly because he didn't get he got a poor reception when we went up to their place in December. We were slagging him off the whole game. So no is my answer to that.
Fair enough.
Very, very plain, simple.
No, that's fine.
Like I said, we obviously we didn't give him a good reception there, so I don't feel as if we'll give him a good reception back.
No, that's absolutely fine. Ben, anything to add?
Yeah, no, I quite agree with what Rich said then. I think we've disagreed a lot tonight, but I agreed with him on that one. I think Vigouroux left he had mixed reviews, didn't he, at Swindon? Some fans liked him, some fans thought he was a waste of time.
I never had an issue.
I liked him. Yeah, no, I'm again with you. I thought he was quite good. He just did stupid things.
I thought he was a very adequate goalkeeper. His main issue was he wasn't Fodringham was the problem.
Yeah, he followed Wes.
But also, like, you know, I think I don't know even if it was the way he left the club either as well, like that. I don't really know why we gave him a bad reaction, like sort of thing like that. But you know, it's the way football goes, I think. And unfortunately, we gave him a bad reaction. Do I agree with it? Probably not. I couldn't really care less, to be honest with you.
No, fair enough.
But if you're asking whether or not I think we'll give him a good reaction, then no is my answer. So.
He's the goalkeeper version of McCurdy, in my opinion.
Yeah, very, very, very much so. So, Rich, score prediction, please.
So, like I said on their podcast the other night, I personally feel it's going to be a 0-0 draw.
It's absolutely not going to be a 0-0 draw.
I think it will be. I think
both teams to score.
I don't think it will be. I don't think it will be. What I want it to be is obviously a 2-0 win to us. Realistically, do I think it will be that? Probably not. I feel as if that would be a 0-0 draw. I think obviously we're going to be going for it. Now, obviously, based on the team that we're going to play, obviously we don't know yet. We're not sure what formation we're going to play. Obviously, we've got injuries.
Evidently by our discussion.
Yeah, we don't know what players are going to be playing and everything like that, or what positions they're going to be playing. So we don't know yet. I feel as if that Leyton Orient, like we've all said, and obviously under Wellens and stuff like that, they're starting to play the football that Wellens wants to play and everything like that. And we've seen that evidently. I feel as if they're going to be very difficult to break down. They're not going to be as easy as what Harrogate were. I feel as if that we're going to have to work really, really hard for it. Do I feel as if they're going to have attacking threat? Yes, I think they will have attacking threat. Do I think we're going to be able to deal with it? Yes, I think we can. But that's why what leads me on to it becoming a 0-0 draw. I feel as if that both teams are going to play a very similar style of football. Both teams are going to be very difficult to break down. I mean, it could come down to a 90th minute winner of some sort, but I personally feel realistically, I would love to be wrong on this. I really do, because I really want us to win and for us to be in those playoff positions. So I'm going to put my thoughts aside and I'm just going to try and be positive and just really, really hope that my prediction is going to be wrong, because I really want to be wrong. I never want to be wrong, but I really, really want to be wrong on this.
Ben?
My heart says 3-1. My head says 1-1. They go half-time 1-0 up. We'll equalise. Vigouroux pulls up a few weldies to keep it 1-1.
I'm going to go with a 2-1 win for Swindon.
Let's hope so.
That's what I said the other night with them, but I was just like, I just don't see it. I just don't see it.
And it would be wrong of me not to ask you both. So Ben, I'll go you first. Your views on sport versus game.
Sport versus game?
Yeah.
Do you know what? I've never even considered that sort of thing. I'm kind of with Julien.
Oh, well, don't worry. Max has promised he's got loads of these types of questions to throw at us.
I'm kind of half with Julien. If it's something you train for and you compete for, apart from wrestling, which is an entertainment, that's the one exclusion. I say wrestling's an entertainment.
Don't forget, Rich has got a couple of belts behind him.
You have a fixed outcome there. You know who's winning, so it's not a sport. It's an entertainment. But I think if you train hard and you compete in something that you compete for, then
which are both things wrestlers do, by the way.
Yeah, but you compete, but they're set outcomes. They know and they practice. And they rehearse.
I will speak to you guys off camera about this, but yes, no, I'm with you.
Absolutely. But
well,
until the age,
I'm completely with Julien. Absolutely. I think darts, snooker should be taken as seriously as any other sport. So I'm
absolutely
for that.
Fair enough. Gents, it's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you for taking time out of your bank holiday weekend to talk to me again. I very much appreciate it. It's been very interesting watching you two. That you two aren't normally ones that go toe to toe with each other. You've had a few with other people over the course of the season, but not normally with each other. So it's been interesting.
And Warren, let's not forget Warren as well. I think it's been quite a feisty podcast.
Warren just turned up, lit the blue talk paper, and disappeared again.
Yeah, no, we usually got quite sensible, relaxed ones, but yeah, no, we
really.
Sensible
has never been a word we've used to describe this podcast.
Our views.
But no, so thank you to you both. Thanks, Warren, and thanks also to Julien. I hope everyone watching or listening enjoys the rest of their bank holiday / Easter weekend. From Fools Rush In, we hope you've enjoyed this bonus episode. Goodbye.
Cheers, guys.